Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the full moon. It's on August 9. It's at 17 degrees of Aquarius. The Lion's Gate lines up a day before this full moon, and that unprecedented talent triangle I've been talking about is lit up because Mars is forming a kite pattern, activating the energy. Yeah, that sounded like a lot. It's a lot, and that's what we're going to talk about. In unprecedented times, it's very important to be flexible and resilient, and this full moon in Aquarius gives you a chance to change directions while you're in motion. So this is the energy that I'm seeing for this full moon. It's that Mars is making a trine both to Uranus and to Pluto, and it's making that opposition to Saturn and Neptune, and that forms this kite configuration. So while you are doing all of the things that you're doing, and there are lots of things that you're doing, you can, say, shift one direction towards Uranus and do something completely unexpected, out of the box. Or you can shift towards Pluto and let go of something that's been holding you back, a vice, an attitude, a person, a project, and free yourself. Or you can meet Saturn and Neptune in the middle and actively work with someone else, maybe helping them. So putting aside your desires and your goals and really focusing on them. And as you do, you get the insights and spiritual healing that you need. And all of this comes down to the fact that what's most important right now is flexibility and resilience. And I was reading Seth Godin's blog, and he was talking about resilience and being able to move forward even though things haven't worked out. You know, that when things don't work out, that we try something else, and then we try something else, and we try something else. And that continual knocking at these different doors is what brings us opportunities. And if you would like to know more about what's ahead for you in 2025 and 2026, I do readings. I do all types of astrological readings. That means progressed readings, solar return readings, readings for compatibility, to start your business, for timing. So if you're interested, there's a link in the description. And then at the end of this video, we're going to continue talking about your money houses and how to find the hidden money in your chart. Okay, Libra, this full moon's lighting up your area of creativity and risk-taking, while Mars is in your own sign. That gives you more energy, more abilities to lead, more opportunities to, go the direction that you want to go. But of course, Mars is doing that opposition to Saturn and Neptune. And so you might see that everyone in the world's doing better, or that they are the authority, or there's something that is standing in your way. And that's why you're doing this energy of creativity and risk-taking, to find a different path to what it is that you want. Whereas you could take the path of Uranus, which is up in your area of education, which says, what's a different way I could do this? How can I learn a new way? Or you can take the other direction, the Pluto, which just says, I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see if what I think is this wall of block in front of me is really as solid as I think it is. Because I think when you get up to it, whatever the fear is, whatever your nervousness is, whatever your concern is, I think that when you touch it, it will dissolve. Now, when it comes to relationships, you are doing some very strong energy. That is that Mars is doing that opposition, as I mentioned, to Saturn and Neptune. So it can feel like everybody knows more than you, everybody is doing better than you. This is just the illusion of Mars opposed Saturn. And why we get this aspect is so that we try harder. This is that you see that the other guys can climb the rope and the wall and all that. So then we're supposed to get, I can do this too. And that's why Mars is in your sign, so that you can feel that energy to say, I can do this. I can bring up the subjects I want to talk about. I can find a solution. And as you do, the opposition just dissolves. Now, when it comes to your money, you pull money from Pluto, which is in that area of creativity and risk-taking. You're going to hear me say that for a long time, but also that Mars. And so again, the money issue is going to be completely related to the idea that other people are the authority, when in actuality you are the authority now. That is that you get to step up and say, I'm going to run this project, I'm going to be responsible for these employees, or that I'm going to find the solution to make me more money. And that is that Mars can go towards that Uranus that I was talking about before and find a new way, or to the Pluto, which says, I'm going to take hold of the power. So when it comes to money from business or from investments, Venus, which is necessary in this configuration, is very elevated in your chart. And that means that there are some really good energy that you can get from advertising, from posting. You may find that you get more followers. This, when it comes to investments, as you go out into the world, you may find that you get more tips. So going to talk to your broker, going to classes, going to meetings that are about investments, those sort of things are really going to benefit you at this time. But the strongest energy for money for you is going to be money derived from career. So that would be a paycheck, because the sun is there and Mercury's retrograde in that area, giving you more time than usual to work on these things. The sun is, let's see, I had to check. The sun's making a semi-square to Mars. That's an aspect that's not the easiest, but it is an aspect which allows the money that's out in the world to come into your hands. So you have all of the ingredients to make this soup, but I'm going to tell you, it's going to be spicy soup. So be ready for a little bit of pushback where the supervisor may say, well, why should I give you this raise? Be ready to give them your statistics of how you've helped the company and what you've worked on. And then you're going to be quite pleased, I think, because you not only have this going on, but you also have that Venus and Jupiter elevated in your chart, which can bring really good things when it comes to career. Okay, in the third section of this video, there is a little tutorial, but first I have a couple of announcements, and one of those is about the tutorials themselves, and that is that as a member, you get direct access to these tutorials. You get them all, in a little series, and there are additional videos, deep dive videos, behind the scenes videos. And so if you're really interested in astrology, then consider joining. The join button is on YouTube. It's right by the subscribe button. And so I would love to have you as a member. And then in case you don't know already, I give a free class every month. It is on the first day of the month. It's at 12 p.m. Pacific time. That is 3 p.m. Eastern time. That is 8 p.m. England time. I don't know what that is for Australia. I should find out. But in this class, we do an astrological overview of the month, and then we write our monthly wishes together. We pick what we're going to focus on for the month, and then we do a short meditation where we energize this all together, all of our lists. And this class lasts for about an hour. As I said, it is free. You can register for this class. There's a link in the description. So let's continue our discussion about finding the hidden money in your chart. And by the way, I do have a video course on this topic, and there is a link to that in the description. So we've talked about the second house for a couple of videos now, and so I'd like to start our discussion talking about the other houses, money houses in your chart. You have 4 total money houses in your chart, and the second house is the most important one, but the others do play an important role. So there's the 5th house, and the 5th house is about speculation and money derived from real estate. So if you're a person who's going to roll the dice, invest in crypto, take a chance on buying a business or starting up a business, that energy will show up in the 5th house. Now, additionally, because real estate is the 4th house and the 5th house is the second from the 4th house, so in derivative houses, we are deriving charts from the individual houses. So the second from the 4th house would be money derived from real estate. And so if you work in real estate, if you work in construction, if you do anything basically in the trades, or you do home decor, or you rent out part of your house, that all would be covered by the 5th house, or at least the money derived from those activities would be covered by the 5th house. Then there's the 8th house. Now, the 8th house is money from business. It is money from investments. It is money from partnerships. It's also inheritance, gifts, royalties, residuals, passive income sources, and the lottery. Now, the lottery is different than speculation for the 5th house. That type of speculation in the 5th house is more like poker, where you are head-to-head against another individual or the house, versus the lottery, where there is mutual betting that happens and then someone walks away with the prize. And then this is money from partnerships. That includes marriage. And that's because the 7th house is your partner, the person that you marry or your business partner. And then in derivative houses, the 2nd from the 7th, which is the 8th house, would be money derived from partnership. And then there is the 11th house, and the 11th house is money derived from career. So again, we're using derivative houses. The 10th house is your career, and so the 2nd from the 10th would be money derived from career. And that would include working for somebody else or doing some sort of contract work, especially if you're in some sort of temp agency where you're going from business to business. This is also, though, for people who work in their own business, but they are integral for that business, such as a doctor whose name is on the plaque. And so if the doctor's not there, there is no business. Or people like studio musicians, where it's gig after gig, but it's more treated like a job, where there are certain hours that they have to show up and do whatever they're doing. So there is a little bit of a fine line on the contract work. Sometimes that will appear more as 8th house, sometimes it's more 11th house. But in general, what we look at is if you have a well-disposed 11th house, you're more likely to work for someone else. If your 8th house is a better house, better based on the planets that are there and the aspects that they're making, then you're more inclined to have your own business. And then the next step will be to look at the planets in those houses and what houses they rule, and then also the sign on the cusp and where that planet is, because that house will give you more information about the money you can attract. And we will talk about that in future videos. And that's it. I put out an illustrated newsletter once a week, and if you like astrology and you love black cats, this is something you'll want to subscribe to. There's a link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.